Hey guys, Brian Delivered You the Goods here, returning to you for another album review, a little quicker than I thought, for 5 Seconds of Summer's new record, Everyone's a Star. Millie, down. Give me a second. Hey, I'm sorry about that. My dog was not listening to me. 5 Seconds of Summer, Everyone's a Star. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this album in its entirety and let you know my thoughts on 5 Seconds of Summer's follow up to their self titled album. I believe that was in 2022. So let's dive into this album review. Now, it starts with Everyone's a Star, which actually didn't sound bad for the mixing. It was a little ominous of a track, kind of weird, but it did work. I think overall the track flowed very well with Luke Hemmings' vocals and the other bandmates, Callum Scott and them. So I think it worked for how it sounded. So it's a 5 out of 5. I did enjoy this track. The opening track is pretty strong, and it's the title track to the record. So of course, they had to make it as good as they could. Not Okay is a disappointing track. I was very let down by this one. The mixing and the flow of it did not mesh well. It was sounding cringy with the verses. And then when the chorus came in, it was like I felt nothing for it. The chorus just didn't excite me enough to really like this track. I was a little disappointed with this one. And it's a shame because I think they are a talented pop boy band, but they relied too much on the electronics and the deep monotoned singing, rapping stuff that did not flow. So 2.75 out of 5. It's unfortunately a letdown. Telephone Busy's another letdown. Oh well. I'll worry about that later. But overall, Telephone Busy is a letdown because of the fact that the vocals didn't work with Luke Hemmings' singing, and it just sounded cringy as hell, this track. So it's another 2.75 out of 5. Then comes Boy Band, another letdown that I was so disappointed with. I was liking some of the verses, but it's the chorus that really struck me and really disappointed me. So another 2.75 out of 5. This one was another letdown, and I was unfortunately disappointed. So yeah, it just the chorus wasn't great. Number One Obsession was actually a good song, pretty good song in its own way. I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. The beat is pretty catchy. I mean, the verses are quick to follow, but at the same time, this track is pretty good in its own way. It's because Luke Hemmings' singing was pretty solid, and the beat was flowing very well with the mixing and production. So, it's pretty good in its own way. Then comes I'm Scared I'll Never Sleep Again, which is actually a really nice track. Really enjoyed Luke Hemmings' singing vocals, and the other bandmates as well. Singing did very well. So, this is another good one that I personally dig. So, it's a 4.75 out of 5 for this one. I Still Feel the Same actually was a weird track, but it did work for how it sounded. So, it's a 4.75 out of 5. The beat is pretty catchy, and the overall flow of the track did work for I believe the 2.5 minutes of this track. It was very short of a track, but it did work, and it was pretty simple. Then comes Ghost, which is a really nice track. I really enjoyed this one. Luke Hemmings' vocals really shine in this track, so do the other bandmates singing. Did very well, so it's a good one. And another 4.75 out of 5. Still a strong track and a highlight to this record. Then comes Evolve, or Sick of Myself before I get to Evolve. Um, Sick of Myself is a pretty good one, so it's a 4.75 out of 5. I do enjoy the beat, I enjoy the melody, I enjoy Luke Hemmings and the other bandmates singing. Did very well for the execution. Then comes Evolve to get back to where I left off. I'm sorry that I skipped ahead. I kind of did that, unfortunately. But this is meh. This one, the verses are kind of cringy, but the overall chorus is pretty strong, and it is a little catchy when the chorus comes in. But it's just a meh track, so it's a 3 out of 5. It's unfortunately I wouldn't say a letdown, but it's in the middle with me. So yeah, 3 out of 5. The Rocks is another one that I think is decent. Not terrible, but fairly decent. I think the melody works from time to time, but it's just how it executes with the singing and the production and mixing. There are times where it kind of fluctuates and is a little cluttery at times with some of the melody structure, so 4 out of 5. And finally, Jawbreaker closes out this record for the regular edition, of course. I know they're going to have a deluxe edition for this with 4 extra songs, which I will review it when they come out. It just depends on when they come out. It may take till next week to be released. But overall, Jawbreaker is a 4.5 out of 5. Nice track, but it's good in its own way. I think some of the melody when the verses came in were solid, but it's just with Luke Hemmings' singing, it was a monotone, but it did work to a degree. 4.5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think this is 5 Seconds of Summer's worst record to date. It's unfortunate because I think this certain songs on here do have potential, but 3 songs on this record, which were singles, ruined the reception of the record. So I was very let down by this record, and if I were to give 5 Seconds of Summer, Everyone's a Star album a score, I'm feeling a 5.5 out of 10. Unfortunate letdown. Will be on my worst albums of 2025. Unfortunately, it'll probably be at the top tier list, but of that list. But other than that, you'll see that video on the 23rd, and this album will be on that list. So yeah, unfortunately, 5.5 out of 10. I wish I could have given it at least a 6, but I was so let down by certain songs on this record, 3 songs which were singles. So 5.5 out of 10 for 5 Seconds of Summer, Everyone's a Star. Thanks for watching this album review tonight.